Good evening to all our guests of Broken Not Shattered across the world, whether you are anywhere in Africa or somewhere here in North America or even in Europe where my guest actually is located. Welcome to Broken Not Shattered. This is the station where we actually take our time to tell our stories. And today, my guest is Dr. John Major himself. Yes, the name is John Major Ozigwe. And if you know anything about the name John, welcome to the Broken Not Shattered podcast. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing quite fine. Thank you very much, EK. I'm doing very well today, and it's actually an honor to be in this famous broadcast. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thanks a lot. So you know the name is the name of the Prime Minister in Europe, and
Yes.
actually the is a British Prime Minister. How did you get the name? Tell us about the name. How did you get the name?
Well, actually, I asked my dad once of all the names. He just told me that he loves the name and he likes the British Prime Minister, so he decided to name his first child John Major.
Awesome.
That
Well,
happened to me.
John Major was a very good Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Um, very simple guy. I know him very well. Done some work with people around that same circle also. Well done. Welcome to the BNS program. And tell us about yourself and where you're actually located right now.
Okay, thank you. My name is John Major. I am a 28-year-old Nigerian. I am an optometrist. Right now, I'm located in Sigmaringen, Germany. So
Oh,
this is where I work, and this is where I'm living currently, Sigmaringen, Germany. It's a little city in the state of Baden-Württemberg in
ah.
Germany.
So did you study in Nigeria or did you study in Germany?
I studied in Nigeria. I studied in Imo State University. Actually, I
Okay.
started my studies in Madonna University, LLA. Then I took my transcript and completed my medical studies in Imo State University. So when I finished, I decided to do something different with my life. Yeah.
I mean,
So
you studied medicine. Yes, you're an optician uh, in Nigeria, and you didn't use it. And just like every other person this day and age, you decided to what they call japa from Nigeria to move into Europe. Are you working in that same field in Germany?
Well, right now I am not working in medical field, but I am working in a scientific field. It's actually company that actually needs a lot of data to produce some materials. So I'm actually working with the systems to help to notify the materials and the mode of measurement and production. So that's it's also in the scientific field, but it's not really tailored down to eyes and maybe diagnosis and or what we learned in school. So it's actually fun, doing something a little bit different from what you are used to. And
Yes.
the beauty of this is that it gives me the space to actually pursue other aspects of my life which I personally want to develop. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about your journey. Tell us a story how you left Nigeria and why you left your native country to move to the Western world to start your new life.
Okay. My story is a very how would I say it? It's not really that common because uh, when I finished school in Imo State University, my results were good, so I had many options. I went for internship and I worked with some renowned ophthalmologists. So during my time practicing, I noticed something about myself. I noticed that the normal practice, it was okay, but it was not actually what I really wanted with my life. I felt bored, sitting there and just talking to patients. They will come, I'll treat, they'll go. I do the same thing over and over again, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I knew that this is not something I would want to do for like a very extensive period in my life. So I started to think, what are the options? It was like I started to retrospect to understand who I am as a person. So yes, I have this degree, it is there, but my life is bigger than this degree. There should be another. aspect of who John Major is. What can I do with my life? So I started to think. It led me to do many things. I ventured into real estate. I studied real estate, and because of my little knowledge in real estate, it was not really a solid business. So I lost that. So I had a very major setback in Nigeria because I had some issues with the state government, over some allocations and pieces of property which I ventured my money into. So it was not really a very beautiful story. So it was like my finances were being crashed down from here to here. I had to start again. And at that moment, at that point in my life, I was also married. So it was very difficult juggling family life, children, work, and also your own personal, what you want to do with your life. So it was, yeah, it was so much for a young man. I think I was just 24 then. So it was so much. It was so much for me. So my traveling story started when I decided to take a leap of faith because I've not actually traveled out of the country. So the first place I traveled to was Greece. I went to Greece. I applied through this Schengen visa then. So
Right.
yeah, I traveled to Greece, and when I got there, it was like cultural shock. I've not seen fast trains. It was too much. The weather gave me chills. Moving from Africa to Europe,
It's a different
it's not.
ballgame.
Yeah, it's a different ball game. It's just like another world within where I'm coming from. So I always saw myself as someone who is educated because of the level of education that I had in Nigeria and how well my results were. But I found out that being in a different environment, you don't know anything. You see yourself asking questions, trying to, you spend a lot of time trying to translate because in Greece they don't speak English.
English,
They
that's
speak,
correct. Yes.
yeah. So I found myself translating a lot and a lot of things. So from Greece, I actually my visa was still valid. So I decided to make another trip. So I left Greece and I went to France, to Paris in France. Yeah. So that particular place blew my mind because the beauty of Paris. Oh my God, it was something else. So I think for the first uh, 4 months I spent in Europe, there was a lot of, how will I say, mental shift that happened to me. I understood that life was bigger than maybe where I'm coming from. I had to uh, start afresh to relearn, even like, for example, I always used to call people sir. Okay, sir, thank you, sir. When I came here, it was a problem because if I asked someone, excuse me, sir, sometimes they look at me as, why are you greeting me with that prefix and all
Correct.
those things.
Or the one that's very common, they'll say ma. They'll say yes
Ma,
ma.
yes, ma,
Yes,
ma,
yes.
ma. I did that a lot, and most times I noticed that they didn't really see it as respect. Sometimes,
They
they
did.
look at it as like, come on, man. No,
Yeah,
my name is Doris. Call me Doris, and you are
that's right.
calling a something-year-old woman by her first name.
That's right.
It,
Yeah. That's the cultural difference. Yeah.
it's a lot. So,
That's
but
correct.
within this period, I started to make contact. I started networking. I started to work, and thank God for personal gifts. Making friends is not difficult for me. So that was the place I found the friend that helped me secure this job in Germany. So this is just like an overview of how I finally
So
moved.
so you left your native country, Nigeria. You moved to Greece,
Yes.
and then you moved from Greece again to Paris,
Right.
another country in Europe. And then
Yes.
from Paris, with all the beauty, you left the beauty of Paris, and then you moved again to Germany, where you're currently
Yes.
residing, right? So that's about three different countries. Were these intentional moves, or was this you moving to find a better place for your life? Were they
Well,
planned that you would end up in Germany, or were you just moving just to find out where you can fit in?
well, as a young man and as an Igbo man, there's this kind of mentality that we have. You know, you keep moving till you get what you want. You know, I went to Greece. Greece gave me that exposure that I needed. So at least I understood the fact that there is something bigger than where I came from. There is something different. But
Okay.
that's not my destination. So I had to let go of all the sweetness and all the beauties of because I stayed. I think it's in Athens. So yes. So
Yes.
all the sweet, I had to just let it go. I had to ginger myself and move next to France. France was another wonderful place, but it didn't give me what I wanted. There is something I wanted as a person. I, I wanted stability. I wanted somewhere I can go and have this sense of relaxation. So I felt that way coming to Germany. From the first day I stepped my feet into Germany, I felt this welcoming aura around the whole German system. So this is
Wow.
why I decided to stay. I don't know. I don't know. Tomorrow you might hear I'm in China. That's just life. I think the beauty of life is
So
variety.
you're moving from place to place to place, searching for something that
Yeah.
is more meaningful for you. And who knows, at the end of the day, you might go through full circle and go back to your native country where you believe you started from.
It's
Who
yeah.
is possible?
Yeah.
Because life on its own is actually a journey. John Major, you when you were talking earlier on, you said you were married with kids at 24. How did
Yeah.
you say you were married or you still are? You've left the marriage is no more there.
Well, this is, I got married at the age of, I think, 22. The day before my 23rd birthday. I actually uh, got married in my final year in school.
Oh
You know,
wow.
she, yeah, she was my girlfriend then, the love of my life. I know how the story goes. And I was doing well as a young man. I had a shop in school because I like doing business. I had a shop that used to make the shawarma in IMSU
Oh,
back then.
it sounds like a
So,
friend of mine. Okay, that's good. Mhm.
and
The
at the
guy we
same
had
time,
last weekend was doing shawarma in school too.
yeah, shawarma because I know, yeah,
Might even the guy called Ketch. He was in Imo State University, I think, and then moved to somewhere else. But go ahead.
yeah. So financially, I could cater for myself. As a student, I was driving two cars in school because I was making money from that business. I also used to sell clothes because I will go to Onitsha. It's not that far. Maybe with 100,000 naira, I can go and buy some linen things, although they are not original.
I know what you mean. I know what you
I
mean.
then
I know.
I'll
What
now
you
come back to
mean. I
campus
know.
and convert my room to where people will come and see clothes. So I was also into real estate. I learned basic real estate from my late dad. So he taught me the importance of buying and how to double your money with real estate. You can buy a piece of land from a desperate person and sell at your own confidence. You can also buy at a cheap place. Just all those small things. I think I was
Basically,
able to help
basically,
myself
basically,
financially.
you're a hustler.
Exactly, I'm a
You
hustler.
just have to get your hustle on, regardless of what's going on. I like that. And here you are, a doctor, but you're still a businessman. The entrepreneurial spirit is in you, and I pray
Yeah,
that you will continue to utilize it until you find out where you can balance your professional life and
yeah.
your entrepreneurial spirit together, so that you can marry and fulfill purpose and calling in your life. Um, so I don't want to dabble into your personal life, but I believe that that pressure and strain of life puts an impact on that relationship. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. That is one of I think I'm still a young man. I'm not up to 30 years, honestly. I'm not up to 30 years. I will be 28. October. But
Wow.
I I I think due to the things that I have done and that gap, I think it would put a lot of strain on my
Pressure
personal life.
on our relationship. Okay. So sorry to hear that. Any children involved?
Yes, I have two beautiful girls.
Are you in touch
My
with
first
them?
daughter, I'm in touch with them. We speak every time that I have chance, and I always try to cover up because there's always a gap.
Yes,
The
yes.
fathers, there's always a gap. So I'm I'm trying to reach it with maybe phone calls, video calls, and maybe send a lot of toys. And at least I'm always there present. That is what I can
Yes.
do. For now. That's what I
For
can do
now.
for now. Yes.
Well, I pray it gets better. I pray it gets better. I've been there, so I know what you're talking about. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a few things about how life is living in a non-English speaking country. But before then, there's some information that I would like you to share, which I've heard about, which is called the European Union Blue Card. Since you're actually there, maybe you can give our audience some information on that. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and we're having a chat with John Major. No, not the Prime Minister, but the doctor this time.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Broken Not Shut Up. My guest today is John Major. He is based in Germany. Um, hey, John, let's talk about this quickly and then we can go into the understanding of the blue card. How are you able to survive coming from a predominantly English speaking part of Africa to now reside in a non English speaking um, country? I mean, you're the first person that my own impression about Germany is it's not a good place for people of with dark skin. But you just told me you found a place where you found peace, and that
Yes.
means it could be my own myth. Let's hear this story and how have you been able to cope? Because is there no challenges in the language?
Mm, okay. Yes. Thank you. I think this is very important to understand. The truth is that there is a challenge. That's the truth. Because here in Germany, they speak German.
Correct.
But in the villages, they speak, I think, Schwabish. So it's just like uh, there is Central Igbo. That's the one everybody speaks, for example. Then there's still rural Igbo that they speak. So
Yes, correct.
besides this one that they speak, they still have their own dialects.
That's correct.
So that is it. But coming from a country that speaks English, you have an advantage. The advantage is that in Germany, English is actually the second language.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, because an average educated German can speak both English, German, and English. So you will not really find it difficult, especially maybe if you're in the big cities like Stuttgart, Düsseldorf, Berlin.
Right.
You can ask somebody, excuse me, please, can you speak English? The person will be like, okay, yes, I can. At least 5 out of 10, you are sure one person will speak English. So the English language is actually an advantage in Germany. So if I can speak English very well, so when I went there, I noticed it was a challenge because I thought maybe nobody speaks English. Till I started listening to people's conversation in the train. Sometimes they speak German and then they mix it with a little bit of English. I'm like, is this not English? So I started asking questions, and then I also found out that even the English and German originated from the same source. So most words in the German language are also in the English language. And if you listen very well to when somebody is speaking German, there are little bits of English inside. Like when I started, because this interest it put me under a lot of pressure, so I went to learn the language. When I got there, I found out that there are a lot of words that are the same. Like come is come. Go is Gehen. So if you
So they
listen very well,
the same roots.
yes, they have the same roots, but it's just like the structuring is where the difference comes in. They like to
Wow.
put the verb in the second position most at times or in the last position. So if you pay close attention to the German language, you will find a lot of uh, how will I say it? Like it's alike with the English language. So if you speak English and you come here in Germany, I think you will have big advantage to pick up the
Wow.
language. Yeah. So and
Wow.
it
We have
was
10
taught
more.
me.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I think if you really pay close attention, because the German language system is graded A1, A2, B1, B2, and C. Now, if you pay adequate attention to this language, in less than 4 months, you should be able to have your B1 certificate because it's almost very easier for an English-speaking person to pick up German.
Wow.
So that's
So,
that.
well, that's big information. We have less than 10 minutes to go. So that means you speak German now.
Well, I speak good basic German. Basic, yeah. At least
Basic German.
I have the B1 certificate now. I have the B1 certificate, and it's enough to write an exam in German. I also wrote one exam in politics in German, which I also passed. So just under 1 year of studying German, so it's a big improvement. Yeah, it's a big
So
improvement.
look at the camera. Tell my guest that although life could be tough and sometimes they face brokenness, they should always remember that they are broken but not shattered.
Life can be tough. Yes,
Say
life will
it, say
present.
it, in- say it in German. Say it in German.
Okay, Leben ist ein bisschen schwierig. Das ist, das ist immer so. Aber wenn du habe Hoffe und wenn du habe this Glaube, du kannst alle machen. Life ist schwierig, ja, ja, aber du kannst leben weiter. When du have diese faith, yeah, okay, that's what you told me is a little bit hard, but at least I'm able to say something. I'm able to say something. Yeah, I'm able to say
Hey,
something.
no problem. I mean, sorry for putting you on the spot, but hey,
I didn't
that's
plan
what
for it. I didn't plan for it.
I, that's the whole idea. So somebody else can watch it and say, okay, there's still hope. Thank you
There's
so
still
much, John.
something. Yeah, yeah,
You
there's
tried,
still something.
I kind of understood what you were saying. Let's take the next few minutes to discuss the European blue card. The European blue card sounds like the American green card. Obviously, if you come to America to become a resident in America, you must first of all get your level certification and then your green card. It is after years of being an official resident with that green card that you can now either apply for citizenship and become an American citizen, or you still on your green card. Is it the same thing when it comes to the European Union or the EU blue card?
Yes, they are on the same level. They are on the
Okay.
same level. I think the
Tell
same
us
thing
more
the
about
green
it. Mhm.
is the same thing the blue card does. Now, this EU blue card is for skilled non-European workers. It's actually programmed,
Skilled.
yeah, skilled. It's actually programmed to meet the work shortage in this Europe. So I think that's the reason we created this uh, EU blue card. Now, this EU blue card is not just for Germany; it's for the European countries in the European Union, the EU. But I think Ireland and Denmark are not among yet, but other countries are making use of this EU blue card. Now, next thing you need to understand is the form of eligibility. Who is eligible? Now, anyone that has this, anyone with a university degree is eligible. Anyone that has a degree in any of the vocational skills is eligible. And anybody that is in IT, with or without a degree, if you're in IT and you've been practicing in the field in the IT sector for more than 3 years, you're definitely eligible for
For
this.
more than three, you said 3 years.
Yeah, for more than 3 years for the IT. If you
Okay.
are if you are an IT specialist and you've been practicing in a field in IT, whether you have a degree or not, you're eligible.
Okay, so
You're eligible.
how do people move from, let's just say, somebody who's in Africa and just heard what you said now? How do they start? How does the journey begin? Because if that's the case, that all of them would have moved over so quickly, but that's not the case. How do they? Eligibility is one thing. Actually, getting it is another thing. How do you ensure that yes, you are eligible, but how do you now become acceptable to have a green card?
Yes, very important. I think the most important thing is now you're eligible, but you have to find out if you can actually access this. Now, first thing you have to do is to check if your certificate, if your degree is comparable to the country's standard. I'm going to use Germany as a case study
Okay.
because
Okay.
when I know. If you want to move to Germany, first of all, you have to compare if your certificate is on the same level with the German certificate.
Right.
Now,
Right. Yes.
the database called the Anabin database. If you go to this website, you can type the name of the university. I mean, for example, study economics in Futo or in Imo State. You will go there, you will see if it's comparable. Now, if it's comparable, you print out that form that states that it is comparable. You keep it as part of your document. Now, that's one. Second one is international passport, which everyone has to have. Now, the third one is health insurance. You get your health insurance from a recognized health sector in Nigeria. Then, something that is very important for you to have is a job offer from that particular country you want to go. For example, you want to come to Germany. Make sure you have a job offer from from a
The
company
company here.
in Germany. Now, inside that job offer, there are two things to consider. First one is that the job offer must not be less than 6 months. It must not be less than 6 months. So the job, the Arbeitgeber, that's the chef, the boss who is giving you this work, must make sure that the contract is being called Vertrag, Arbeitsvertrag. That particular contract is not less than it's not less than 6 months. And the the gross per annum, that's the money you get at the end of
Yes,
the year,
salary. Yeah.
the salary expectation should meet a particular range. It should be from, I think, for 41,000 euro. So at the end of
So you become sustainable. You won't be a burden on the
so
system.
yes, so it will be sustainable. Now, if you are done gathering this, maybe the job offer, your documents, your international passport, your health. Now, what you need to do is that I always advise people, but it's not must. If you have some time, you can quickly go and do a first level Dutch course. That's the A1. It's not difficult to have. I think in 3 months you should be able to have it. Now, if you attach it, it will be like an additional requirement.
Right. Right.
But it's an additional requirement. It will also help you to integrate faster into the society.
So
Now, with that,
it gives you another advantage.
yeah, an added advantage. Yes.
Okay.
So, with that particular documentation, you will take that documentation and go to the German embassy. That's the one in Abuja, I think in Lagos, or the consulate. Now you apply. Now we need to understand that for Africans, I think it's a little bit different because I think our embassies and I think African things are always a little bit different. So if they don't offer you this blue card directly, if you don't get it directly, they can also give you an entry to Germany to work because of the working contract you have.
Okay.
So when you get into Germany with that particular
Entry.
normal entry visa, that particular city where the company is, that particular place you are residing, there's what we call the Auslander Beholder. Now, this Auslander Beholder is like an agency that is responsible for people from different countries. You go quickly and apply to this Auslander Beholder. Now, this Auslander Beholder will look at your certificate again and now look at your job contract. If it matches to what they want, then you are now eligible for that EU blue card.
Wow.
So it's
Thank
just
you.
as it's
Wow. Thank you so much for that information. I hope somebody will listen to what you just said and learn from it. Now, you are very active on social media, I was told by my staff.
Yeah.
Please, where can they find information about you, John?
On Instagram, at, Dr. Dia Major. Instagram,
So this
on
is so
Instagram.
just like what we have here, Dr.
Yes.
Dear, okay?
Yes.
And
And also I'm also on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, also Dr. Dia Major. So you
okay.
can find
So if
yes,
anybody
yes.
out there wants to find out more about John Major and what he does, and this conversation we just had about how to get into Germany the legal way, because I can tell you, if you come illegally into any country, the struggle is too much. It's really, really challenging. So what he has given us now is an insight into how to come into Germany the legal way. John, thank you so much, John Major, for sharing that information. Thank you for sharing your story. I wish you well in your endeavor. And if you move to another country, please let us know. Until then, to all my guests, please don't forget to like this show. Go hit the like button, share the link with your friends, and please, 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 please follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and all our other social media handles. On behalf of the entire team at Broken Not Shattered, I want to say a big thank you to our guest today, Dr. John Major
Yeah.
Ozigwe, and to all our audience and guests who come in every Sunday to bring this show to reality. And then, Obi, thank you again for stepping in and being there for me last 2 weeks when I was away. God bless you.
Thank you.
Our three famous words before we end the show: love, peace, and more grace. Take
Yeah.
care and God bless. John,
Thank
catch you on the other side.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank